Lot49. How we doing?
Good.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
We excited for Graham?
Yeah.
We're excited for books on a Saturday night?
Yes.
You could have been watching the Batman Eats Pussy movie in the theaters, but instead you're here at a bookstore in South Philly. Thank you. And that means a lot to us and Graham, and happy to be here to support. I'm going to read from my book. It's called Watertown. If you don't know, Watertown is a shitty little town in upstate New York, about 30 miles south of the Canadian border. It's basically Canada. I used to hop the border and go to Kingston and get drunk when we were 19. No passport, no big deal. So here we go. Thank you. Where are we going to start this thing? A town called Gravity. We said Watertown was like gravity. People could escape their rural roots for better things, only to return soon after. We forgot that escaping gravity means falling forever. So that's just a little taste of what you're going to get. Slip-ups and vocal things like that. Just bring in the heat. Completely. We're gonna burn South Philly to the ground tonight. Speaking of superheroes, I'm writing my own superhero movie about a superhero with anemia. His name is Not Enough Iron Man. So, all right, back to the pussy shit, poetry. Viggo Mortensen. Viggo Mortensen went to high school in Watertown, and sometimes he comes back. So all of my friends have these Viggo stories. My friend Sam saw Viggo getting gas at the Burn Dairy. Ryan saw Viggo working out at the Y. I've never seen Viggo, but it occurs to me that I can just say I did. No one would ever doubt me. My friends and I were at the bar, the one owned by the mayor, when I decided to tell them I saw Viggo Mortensen. Only I was thinking about that movie Eastern Promises when I said I saw Viggo Mortensen's balls. Fuck. What do we got next year? All right, a funny one. Okay. This one's called Dad. It's about a dad. The greatest memory with my dad is the one where we are sitting in a rowboat in the middle of Lake Ontario. Nothing is said, and nothing needs to be said. No pressure. Tiny waves swish swashing around the boat in the infinite horizon of the lake. Also, that never happened. Exclusive review of this book from Dan Eastman's dad. Not exactly William Shakespeare. So,
That's a compliment.
thank you. Exactly. All right. It's more of a series of words than a poem. It's called Grown Up Soup. When I was 8, I fell in love with ship watching. Dad's buddy Pat had a cottage in the St. Lawrence River where they stayed for long weekends hunting in the woods. I told my dad I wanted to go for one of those cold mornings alone. Awake before anyone else, my gaze gravitated between an Elvira, mistress of the dark tape, and the large barges passing under the gargantuan green bridge of the seaway. I didn't give a shit about hunting. I just thought cargo ships were badass. Steel mammoths powered their way through untamed waters, drinking the river and shitting it out. Sick. In the yard at Pat's cottage sat a lighthouse so small, too small. No way those ships could have seen its signal. Had to have been a gnome that worked it. One determined morning, I crept out in my Spider-Man pajamas, wet grass under my toes, and a fish stink in the air. I was going to peel back a slab of that wood and peek inside. See exactly how that thing worked. I got to the lighthouse and suddenly one of the barges farted. So startled, I pussied out and I darted back to the TV under the flannel blanket and fixed my sights on Elvira's exposed thigh. Waves rolled against the rocky shore, telling me to shush. The coffee pot gurgled on auto and the river glistened under the new sun. Unshaven in their Carhartt jackets and denim, Dad and Pat ambled downstairs from Maxwell House. Gay.
Is that part of the poem?
No, I just self-commentary, man. It happens. Phlegm roiled in their throats the way real men announce their presence in the morning. We took the truck to the woods. I sat in the middle seat between them, sinking low as the boredom set in. Dry leaves and twigs crackled underfoot. We were supposed to blend in with the browning autumn trees as we scouted something to kill. I couldn't take my eyes off the sleek black Swiss cheese barrel of Pat's gun. It was something from a movie. It's so cool, I said. I thought sparks might fly out of it with a hailstorm of bullets. He gave me a closer look. I looked eye to eye with it, peering down the infinite darkness of the barrel. How'd you like to catch one from this thing? Pat asked with a chuckle, aiming it at me. Oh, his laugh kind of reminded me of Butthead, of that Beavis and Butthead fame, which kind of made the gun even more sick. Dad shot us both a shut the fuck up glare as he saw something, but there wasn't anything out there. He just knew Pat's gun was way cooler than his old Remington. No deer, no kill. Nothing would die on that day. No sons became men. Rocks ting-tinged on the bottom of the truck, a cold thermos in the cup holder. Can I have some soup? Pat laughed at me. That's grown-up soup. Then he belched loudly over the sound of the crackling road. Dad didn't laugh, just cleared his throat, drove the truck. Visors blocked out the afternoon sun. The rifle barrels glimmered like halos on a gun rack above my head. As we got closer, I could smell the river through the sealed windows of the truck. Such power. Facing down the gun seemed worth it just to see those steel monsters' farts propelling them through the great river. I imagined them alive, working in communion with the men aboard. As Dad and Pat unloaded the rifles, I jumped from the truck and ran with anticipation. Rain boots hit the grass and stopped. A white slab of wood laid on the lawn next to the lighthouse, empty inside except for some cobwebs. Whatever worked it had been long gone. Breathless, I turned back to the river. Another freighter was approaching. A huge fart rippled across the water. Bad ass. Pardon me. It's just the weather. Nerves. All right. How am I doing on time? All right.
Perfect.
This poem's called Fat. I think if I moved back to Watertown, I could finally settle down and let myself become fat. Thank you. Fucking Brodigan up here. Seen by appointment only, which is what the sign actually said. Seen by appointment only. Walking around Watertown, I observed a realty sign in front of a small prefabricated house. The sign read, "I'm gorgeous inside," to which I softly whispered, "Me too." You guys get it, right?
Yeah, you got it, yeah.
This poem's about Watertown. It's a city. This poem's called Watertown. Watertown is a huge ass, and the crack is the Black River that runs down the middle of it because it looks like shit and it smells. Do a couple more here. Bounce. Just take off. Bear with me, guys. I got a drip. Why did they make seasons? Oh, Christ. All right. It's called U-Haul truck. She had her ashy chapped heels up on the dashboard of the U-Haul truck. She had slipped her torn, tattered Chuck Taylors on the floor of the U-Haul truck. Olive tone tatted up bicycle thighs rode high in the August breeze of the U-Haul truck. Skin deep symbols of self-expression extended from her knees to her feet in the U-Haul truck. Me with my stained white tee and cargo shorts in the driver's seat of a U-Haul truck. Bare legs sweated and stuck to the pleather interior of a U-Haul truck, unseen were the forever marks we gave to one another in a U-Haul truck. It was an older model, boxy, low throttle, no CD player, no adapter, just a burned out tuner, only static between the two of us in a U-Haul truck. Oh, the radio silence of a U-Haul truck, 6 hours is a long way to go with nothing to say to an ex-friend and an old flame in a U-Haul truck. Former consorts, now non-concentric, found a means to their ending in a U-Haul truck. We had packed up and strapped on our belongings in the back, locked down the ratcheted latch of a U-Haul truck. Most of the haul was hers, collections of books, mostly unread, records and ephemera in the U-Haul truck. I, on the other hand, had my own motives, always ready to go without notice, just a stack of clothes and a bag to tote it in a U-Haul truck. And now it's her and me and these catalytic rumblings refusing to be muffled in a U-Haul truck. The summer was so hot, man, the heat was oppressive. I was running a temper, I was hot-headed, I was aggressive in a U-Haul truck, grabbing fistfuls of steering wheel, and my tan knuckles turned bleach white in the U-Haul truck, kept turning to speak, seeking something to say in a U-Haul truck. We had hatches to exhume and ice to break in a U-Haul truck. Something about the way nothing brings people together like shared pain in a U-Haul truck. Abandoning our together home and heading down opposite roads in a U-Haul truck. A languid drive had begun under a late August sun in a U-Haul truck, ended at dusk after 360 miles of muted mouths and dials, opened up in a darkened lot unattended, gutted, unlocked, empty. Last one. Sorry, I don't want to waste your time. It's Saturday night. How did it go? The problem with books, there's like so many pages. All right. It's a block of words called hell. Hell. I don't think it's all fire and pain like they say. I think everyone's got their own thing coming. I don't know. My version of hell? Well, some guys get their dicks cut off. My dick's still there. The sun's shining over the lake. Temps a comfy 75 during the day, but drops to a cool 60 at night. We build bonfires out of dry branches when the sun goes down. Everyone I've ever loved is with me. Every friend, hell, even some enemies too. We take out the boat, sometimes just sit back in the Adirondack chairs. We drink, but we never get drunk. Cheap beer in a bottomless cooler. We're forever in that sweet spot, right after the first or second drink, when your belly gets warm and you can talk about anything. Sleep is optional. Night comes, we share a furnished cabin with those green 70s countertops and pine needles in the carpet. Somebody always plays some half-decent guitar. We circle the fire and listen to owls and the hushed rippling of the shore. A column of smoke reaches to the stars, and all of our secrets are carried away and dissolved. Still, in spite of the eternal beauty of earthly nature and leisure at our disposal, none of us can escape the unspoken feeling that this is not enough. Up next, we've got the publisher of Apocalypse Press
Yeah.
and published author, Benjamin DeVos.
Thanks, Dan, for that intro. I'm going to be reading from a book that I had come out a few years ago, just a short chapter from it. It's called The Mustache Game. My roommate Frank is playing the mustache game. The mustache game is when you stick a piece of tape to the television set, and every time the tape looks like a mustache on a person's face, you have to chug your beer. It's just Frank playing alone, laughing and drinking. He smells like beef vegetable soup and wears tighty whities around the apartment. He gets drunk every night and then somehow wakes up earlier than me each day and sings loudly to himself while he has his morning poop. Like he'll sing, "Pooping in the morning, consider this your warning," then a flushing sound. I'd rather die in my sleep than have to wake to another one of Frank's songs. Living with Frank makes me realize that death is not the end, it's only the beginning. I'm almost certain that he is the reincarnation of some obnoxious creature, like a cockroach or a pigeon, which has been reborn into a higher life form and refuses to accept the responsibilities that come with it. I sit at the table behind Frank, noticing my likeness as a shadow across his bald head. "Frank, your scalp is looking especially shiny today," I said. Frank says, "Yo, what are some words that rhyme with anal beads?" He twists his head around, leaning back over the couch, clicking the aluminum beer can between his thumb and pointer finger. How about shameful deeds?" I said. He says, "That's good, but I need something more visual. Laser beams, that's a good rhyme." "Nice one," I said. "Yeah, man, I'm like writing a song and trying to figure out the chorus." Frank has recently started to go to open mics and play songs that he writes. All of his songs consist of a series of disjointed images. When he sings, it's sort of a mumbling ramble. His demeanor and delivery are a cross between that of a punch-drunk boxer and a backwater televangelist. He says, Anal beads the size of baseballs, laser beams in the dance hall. Then he plays air guitar. He runs his fingers down the invisible guitar neck and moves them around in a tickling motion that is supposed to represent a guitar solo that he's not capable of playing in real life. Nice one, I say. Frank cracks open another beer. He mutes the television and uses the silence to give his own version of the character's dialogue. For the man on the screen, he says, "You looking good tonight, baby." For the woman, he says, "Thanks, handsome. You looking pretty sexy your own self." The conversation gets increasingly erotic, even though both characters appear to be elderly and in a hospital ward waiting for serious results from the doctor. Frank ends the scene with a fart joke. He's so used to laughing at his own jokes that it isn't even sad anymore. Frank says that some guy at the bar the other night told him that Frank reminds the guy of his dad. I say, "Nice, that's cool, Frank." He says, "I always wanted to be a father, and it made me feel like maybe I could use my comedy to be like a father figure to other people." That's pretty bold, I say. Frank says, "If I ever become famous, I think I would run for mayor and just like try to be a father for everyone living in the city because there aren't enough fathers to go around, and many of the fathers that are around are shitty at it anyway." Wow, I said. Like seriously, and I would go to different neighborhoods around the area, handing out presents to the good kids and spankings to the bad. He chugs his beer, neck swelling like a pelican, his bald head in a million wrinkles. "So if you were famous, you would basically become a semi-abusive version of Santa Claus with some political power who focuses all of his time on fathering people who may or may not already have fathers of their own?" "Bingo," says Frank. I take a beer out of the refrigerator and think about the day I signed the lease with Frank and how many beers I must have had that day to make such a bad decision. Frank laughs at the woman's face on the television set. He finishes his beer. "Beer goes down smoother the more you drink it," he says in a hoarse too many cigarettes voice. "But I should probably stop because I have a job interview at the garbage factory tomorrow morning." "What's the garbage factory?" He stares at me blankly. "It's like, he motions at the ceiling. Where the garbage goes." "You mean like a dump or some sort of recycling center?" "It's like the place where you sort through the stuff that some people throw out and make sure it's good enough to be resold. You can like shop there and buy used stuff there, I think, maybe." "Oh," I say, "sick." "Yeah, it's nice," he says. I imagine Frank sifting through beer cans and trash juice cardboard for empty whipped cream canisters so that he could inhale the fumes through the nozzle. For the minutes to follow, his garbage sorting abilities would be greatly enhanced. Frank shares his philosophy about trash in life, and by the end, I feel like I'm falling down an endless pit, at the end of which is a colossal dumpster with razor-sharp fangs and roaring flames coming out of the mouth. He says, "I would never live in the suburbs. Nope, not me. I don't want a deer or rabbits digging through my garbage. I'd rather have a crackhead dig through my trash than a deer. A crackhead I can handle. You give a crackhead $5, he'll leave your trash alone. You go up against a deer, you don't know what the fuck might happen." "But you live in an apartment," I said. "You don't have to worry about any of those things because someone comes and takes the trash for us." Frank says, "I know, it's ironic." Then he says, "I'm a lone star shining bright, a trash-eating possum in the night, singing into my last breath, drinking myself to death." His song is sudden, sad, and surprisingly coherent. "Is that what you think about yourself?" I say. "No, that's my impression of a sad folk singer," he says. "Fucking hate folk music. It's like so not rock and roll." He laughs. It seems like he's forcing his laughter. He's hurting on the inside, I think, or he realizes that the lyrics are true. Hang in there, Frank. "Doggy has a mustache," he says, pointing to the poodle on the TV screen. "Drink up," I said. "Cheers," he says, taking a long drink and beating his chest with his fist. I say, "Frank, you really know how to live." And just then, a child wearing a raincoat on the television screen lines up at the tape. "Cheers," Frank says, taking another sip before erupting into a coughing fit that leaves him panting like maybe he's having a heart attack, but I don't feel comfortable asking because he's staring so intently at the face on the TV, just waiting for it to line with the tape. Watching the television, we say cheers back and forth to one another, staying on the same plane of one-worded conversation that feels safe and warm. I say it, and he does, then we drink beer. This is the mustache. Yes. Next up, we have a really talented poet, Catch Breath. She recently had a book called Bleach Tooth come out with Apocalypse Party, and she's
Okay, hello everyone. Nice to see you all here. Okay, made eye contact with a lot of people. Now I feel like I'm in my body and not like totally afraid of all of the spirits surrounding me. I'm gonna read poetry because that's why we're here. This is Bleach Tooth, the book that Ben just mentioned and also published. So thank you for that. I usually will read like poems that I'm like really happy with and like comfortable with. But tonight I want to read some longer poems, which I usually just like don't perform because that's just like not my comfort zone. But also being in front of the crowd is kind of uncomfortable right now. So I'm just like pushing the boundaries. We're all in like COVID era where it's just like weird to be around people. So I'm gonna just like dive in. So this poem is called Bleach Tooth. I torture myself. No one is looking on my laptop in the same spot. Next to the door last night, I knew I was sick, still staying up. I want to say what I meant to say. Sunday at midnight, I lift and lay, the sheets breathing into each blanket, trying to steady my breath. My breath is a mechanical bull. High in some small town in the Rockies, I dig rocks out of the earth. People ask for my muddy hands. I say, this is what keeps me safe. If my hands are clean, I can't stop touching my face, the truth. Sunday at midnight, I spread out, sheets laid down, layers, heavy breath. I crawl under in skinnies and socks. The heater shuts off, the smallest noise makes me afraid. Door slowly opening, my heartbeat, shadow made of glass, edges rounded off, the sharpest point. I want to be a line. In the mud, drag your stick through. Try not to look, not to feel. Frustrated, self-discipline lacking. Every time I told someone else the truth. Sunday at midnight, I spread out, sheets sighing, but not enough. To be noticed, I don't want to be the sunburn, the color of stitching, the guilt I've kept, some kind of carpet I crawl under. With jeans on, I'm ready to make the most out of this. Slow stall sipping, coffee afternoon passing, a new season of sports I'm on, the cheer squad or something. I don't know anything about sports, but I would try harder if that's what you're into. I'd rather look at myself through steam on a mirror, zoomed in with no focus. I hate the things I've said I didn't mean, a hot sound in the middle of sleep. I can't sleep. In the morning, I can't wake. Shove my face into the sheets for me, gently. I undo myself from want. In the shoes that make me stand out, saying, I'm willing to run like a horse who wants to take a nap. Shut eye, nostril breath. Leave me alone, let me dream. Like giants idolized online, I'm shrinking who I want to be, a 2D version every morning without addiction. When I'm starving, I get online, I lay in bed, analyzing another internet presence, shushing away stomach pains like sawdust. Dust doesn't recognize the sun's touch is something it isn't. The high point, surrounded by stone, a film crew casting cancer. The star, I cough. It hurts my stomach, not my lungs. Your stone beneath my body, the palm pressed closed. You're what's inside, and it's supposed to snow. The heater is on, wondering numbers of words for me, any meaning. I mean, someone loves me, the way fingers twitch when talking, staring at nothing in shock. Why I'm not more adult yet. I wait like a loner in the hall, or something mystical. You think the worst. That's all I can give you. I talk to myself, even though there are other people to talk to. Midnight, I'm awake, I'm angry. I don't remember what you said. The last time you said something about me, it was an assumption on my part. I thought you were happy listening to someone else's day pass me by. So I learned something, so I could fall asleep, stop being so confessional, so safe inside a regret. Okay, that's all. Okay. Yeah, long poems aren't so scary. I'm gonna read a few more, I guess. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, this is called Bad Luck. I just want the chance to get to know you while we're still alive. These unresolved feelings will live in me forever if you die first. When I hit the bong twice, I know what drowning feels like. I'll probably end up with a chef or something. We take care of each other, undoing influence, sudden impact, screens and thumbs, touch screen, touch me please. Before boarding my flight, I hover in the stalls with my pants down, not as immediately as the scent of men. A woman's aroma disgusts me. I haven't fucked another woman in a decade. I can't help my imagination, even with my hands. You have to get used to your old voice as the current representation of self. Delay is inevitable desire. I'm acting at ease like I don't know. Turbulence, my fate, I think. All right, this one is called Scabs. I just opened my eyes like the moon, sitting on broken glass. How much longer will I live? Please let me, if you want me, to be alone, a feeling I'm fine with, the lie I need to hear. You'd let me be. I want to hear almost every story. You have to tell. I'm impatient for the chance to tell you my own. I'm losing patience with anyone who isn't trying to talk to me without talking to me. Let's talk telepathy, then feel you beside me. How much love I send your way. I'd rather you hold on to than me. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Every time I argue, my phone as close as possible at night in my bed. I let the light bother my eyes in the center of emptiness, my fresh and balmy fingers. We're so lucky we get to watch when each other is typing. Only last time we talked, I asked you to stop texting me, calling you both names. I always forget. You can see what other people are into on Instagram. We find new ways to avoid the same expressive tendencies, what it looked like to take a nap together, 2 palms holding you still, 2 palms like a heart, too big for the bed. I hardly remember those thoughts between sleeping and waking, but this is my goal every morning. I relate to the energy around and within myself. I want to be kinder. I want to write fix things with Zachary in my calendar. I want to tell you my favorite and my least favorite words. I want them asking about ballet slippers in the trash. If you deleted my texts, which ones did you keep? I want to know so much more about my relationship to the other. In my drafts, I don't remember my dreams. I'd choose dreaming over smoking. I reread the text you probably deleted. Did you think I was flirting when I was blacked out, drinking your Pellegrino, and you were getting a headache? Okay. Very kind. Thank you all for listening to my poems. Now we get to listen to Graham Irvin,
Yeah.
who we all came here to listen to and celebrate and party with and support monetarily if you can. So here we go.
Dan, thank you so much. Ben, thank you. Catch, thank you. Jordan, thank you. Thank you. Everybody who's here for this, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. I think it's I don't know, funny to write a book about something that is very specific that no one knows about and then make other people care about it. It feels like a type of I don't know, violence or terrorism or something. So I really appreciate it. I'm going to read a couple of these. I had planned out a list of stuff I was going to read, but I think I'm going to kind of wing it. Ben, you talked about doing that and you said it went bad, but I want to try it. No, Ben's reading went really good. You said you tried to do that before, not this one, and it didn't go well.
You'll do better than me.
I'll try. All right. So everybody gets acquainted with what liver mush is. I'll read the first poem of the book. Everything you need to know about liver mush. It's breakfast. It's parts of a pig and cornmeal and some other shit. It's a little gray block of meat wrapped in plastic. You can fry it or eat it cold. It's a funny word. It's fun to say. Go on, say it.
Liver mush.
Liver mush. Liver mush.
Liver mush.
Liver mush.
Liver mush.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff. This is a story about a friend I lost over liver mush. It's not the same Ben. One last thing. In July 2020, Ben drove from Cincinnati, Ohio to Philadelphia with a pound of Geta. Geta is like liver mush. You know what I'm going to say. It's parts of a pig and cornmeal and some other shit. You know, the spices, sage, etc. Ben moved to Philadelphia for reasons other than trading Geta for liver mush, but that was one of the first things he did, and that's important to me. Welcome to the city, Ben. Later that week, in the middle of the night, I drank a beer and stared at my phone. I couldn't sleep. I drank whiskey and stared at my phone. I drank until the sun came up, just staring at my phone. I made Geta with corn tortillas at 6 a.m. I ate Geta alone and thought, thank you for the Geta, Ben. I thought, it's not liver much, but it'll do. When Kay woke up, I told her over and over while she worked, baby, boo, you gotta try this Geta. So she agreed to a Geta lunch, as long as I stopped talking about it. I was so drunk I couldn't see. I didn't cook it all the way. There was soft pink meat inside, and I added too much salt. And the oil from the pan burned a hole in my arm. and the oil from the pan burned a hole in my hand. Kay said she liked it to make me happy, but she had a concerned look on her face. She said, "Are you doing okay?" I passed out an hour later. The next time I saw Ben, he said, "I didn't like the liver mush." He said, "The taste wasn't right." I said, "You don't know what the fuck you're talking about." I said, "You made it wrong." I was drunk again. The hole in my arm was full of yellow pus. I said, "Get fucked, man." Ben left and didn't come back. I haven't talked to him in months. Ben doesn't get an apology because I was nice about his bullshit Cincinnati meat. Ben, I hope you read this. Don't fuck with liver mush. One last thing, part 2. I'm sorry, Ben. Elden Ring is very popular. You guys heard about this? You heard about Elden Ring? Tell me about it. I haven't played it, but I've been playing Fruit Ninja 2. And if it's anything like Fruit Ninja 2, I'd love to play Elden Ring. What do you guys think? Do you think? Can anybody give me is it anything like Fruit Ninja 2? If I need to play Fruit Ninja 1 to understand Elden Ring, I don't think it's for me. But if I don't need that, I might like it. I don't know. This is called A Better Future. If I ran for president, my campaign slogan would be a street called Liver Mush in every hometown, a block of liver mush on every kitchen table, and $2,000 a month for all your liver mush needs.
Yeah.
So you guys like haiku? This is a haiku. It's called Headed Home. In Waffle House, eating liver mush, I text my mom good night. Thank you. All right, now I'm going to go into a longer one. Liver mush is an essay about my mom. If you get tired of the word, I'm sorry, it's in there in every piece. You got to hear it a lot. It's it means something. It's a metaphor. Liver mush is more than just parts of a pig and cornmeal and some other shit. It's more than spices. It's close to that, but not exactly. It's home, but not exactly. Liver mush is more than just parts of a pig and cornmeal and some other shit cut thin and fried with butter. Liver mush is more than old white dinner plates in my mom's kitchen at the table with the tile square top. Liver mush is more than feeling the sun on the top of my face and forehead and hairline, not looking out the window because I know it's blindingly bright. It's almost that, but not exactly. Liver mush is just a word, but the word means nothing to almost everyone. And to me, it's cracking open my skull, pureeing my memories into a gray mush and shaping them into something that looks familiar to anyone reading this. This is about everyone. Liver mush means as close as I can get you there with me at my mom's kitchen table. It means we ride through downtown Kannapolis past the empty law offices and clothing stores. It means we stop to see the Dale Earnhardt statue and watch people get their photos taken with below Dale Earnhardt and get our photos taken below him too. It means my mom's dog is loud at first, but gets used to you fast. It means my mom's dog wants you to rub his belly now. He's scratching at your leg so you don't forget him. It means my mom wants to know what we have planned and how long we're going to stay, and if we're hungry, and if she can do some of our laundry or carry any of our bags. It means she hugs you right away. It means my bedroom hasn't changed since high school. It means you're going to make fun of the framed National Honor Society certificate because I worked so hard to get it, and the framed puzzle of Times Square because I cared so much about New York, and the skateboard posters in the back of the door because the men are in their 50s now. Liver mush means we skip dinner with my mom to drive to Charlotte, and she understands, but we know it hurts her, and we apologize, but we know it's not enough. It means we meet D and T at Common Market for $4 PBR tall boys and cigarettes and sing karaoke at Snug Harbor with D and T because they're still together and Snug Harbor is still open. It means D isn't surrounded by people I don't know and living in an uptown apartment and doesn't offer us coke. It means he hasn't left for California yet. It means we have time to get burgers and shots at the Diamond, and I drive home drunk at drunk 45 minutes on the interstate at 4 a.m. And even though we try our best to be quiet, we set off the alarm and wake up the dog. And my mom says, Grammar, you okay? That's what she calls me, Grammar. And asks if I've been drinking when she smells it on me. And I always deny it. It means we don't brush our teeth and sleep in my high school bed together because the floor is too hard and there's just enough room. It means my mom still makes us breakfast in the morning, even though we're hungover and not hungry and have to go back soon. It means I finally convinced you to try liver mush because you made it this far, so why not? It means you say it's not that bad. It means you say it's actually pretty good. It means you're blown away by how good liver mush is with a name like liver mush. Every time I tell my mom I have to go back, I don't say the word home because it hurts her too much. She says, can't you stay? And I say, no. And she says, I was just picking. In my childhood bedroom, I put dirty clothes in the bottom of my overnight bag and decide to make the bed, even though my mom will change the sheets as soon as we leave to keep busy because the house feels extra empty. When I hug my mom and tell her I love her and hug her again and tell her I love her again and tell her I'll text her when I get there and tell her I'll be safe on the drive, I feel home but hot, not home for the rest of the day. Liver mush means something like that. Everything gray is liver mush. This is local. You guys will like this. Fog crushing the Walt Whitman Bridge with its huge ass.
Bravo. It's the most emotional piece for me tonight.
Yeah, that's a tearjerker.
Why is everything so funny tonight? Like, you should have been stand up.
This is alt lit, man.
This is for Steph. I wonder when the best time. I wonder when's the best time to tell the manager at the warehouse in New Jersey, liver mush is a T-shirt that cures depression. All right. I don't know if I can read the other long, sad one. It's not sad. It's
No,
good.
read it.
All right.
You can do it.
Okay. I'm thankful for liver mush. I'm going to read this one, and then I might read like one more that's like funny. I'm thankful for liver mush. Liver mush is a food, and I'm thankful for it. But liver mush is something more than food. Liver mush is a symbol. For a long time, liver mush was just liver mush, and then it started meaning all kinds of other shit. Liver mush started working overtime. Now I'm eating liver mush every day. My stomach aches, my hands sweat. Is there such thing as too much liver mush? When I lived with my parents, I asked anyone who stayed the night to try liver mush. I always knew the answer. The question wasn't a question that needed an answer. The question was a gesture that meant, look at this weird thing we eat. The question meant, validate my identity. The question meant, isn't this a funny word? The question meant, my home is a place you can't access. The question was an aggression towards love. The question was a joke to make the table laugh. I always said, I understand when someone didn't want to try liver mush. I get it. I said, it's a gross word. I don't even think about the name anymore. I told them, if I wasn't born eating liver mush, there'd be no way I'd eat it now. That meant if they even if they liked liver mush, they'd never be on my level. That meant this club starts at birth, or this club starts somewhere near birth. This club starts as close as birth as possible, so you better be born in it, or you better get out of my face. But that was hard-headed of me. I want as many people in the club as can fit. I want the club packed and spilling out into the streets. New members gathered around so I can tell them about the first time I tasted liver mush, because that's important. I need an audience while I work through the symbol of liver mush. There must be a crowd of doting, fawning faces while I build a robust liver mush mythos. Every myth has to start somewhere. Right now, all I know is liver mush is more than food in my belly that makes me feel good. Where did I eat my first slice of liver mush? I have to guess the answer to the question. I have to whittle down the options. I have to start from the beginning. They didn't feed me liver mush in the hospital where I was born. I assume most hospitals don't keep liver mush in the kitchen. And even if they did at the hospital where I was born, they wouldn't have fed it to me because I didn't have teeth, because I was just born, so I couldn't crush the mush. No matter how mushy the mush was, a few teeth and a strong tongue are required to crush and swallow the mush. It's mush, but not mushy mush. It's not the mushiest of mushes. Liver mush is not as mushy as pureed carrots or applesauce or mushy peas. Baby food. I didn't eat liver mush until I lived in the Kannapolis house on Boss Street for long enough to have one or two teeth. Eating liver mush at the Kannapolis house on Boss Street is a possible option for where I ate my first slice of liver mush. It would have gone something like this. My dad wore a work shirt with his name embroidered on it. He was a werewolf with dirty hands. He was the fastest motorcycle rider in the world. He served me my first slice of liver mush with flaky Pillsbury biscuits. They served my mom her usual breakfast of grape jelly and country crock on biscuits. The mixture of grape jelly and country crock was a chunky magenta. My mom dipped her biscuits with a little bit of mush in the chunky magenta pool. I drooled down my chin, imagining a beautiful future when I tell the world about liver mush. I remember thinking that exactly. I remember thinking liver mush. The first liver mush poem was a cherubic, bubbling chuckle. Goo goo gaga, or ee, or just a burp. The first liver mush poem was a baby sound written on the table. In the Kannapolis house on Boss Street, maybe. But the first time I ate liver mush was in my grandmother's trailer with my cousin whose mom couldn't take care of her anymore because her mom was in prison or jail or had up and left. My grandmother was born in the mountains where people made liver mush. She took care of us while our parents went to work. My dad died at some point. And my cousin's mom was somewhere else. My cousin was 4 years older and 4 years better at forgetting the present. My cousin and I ate liver mush in the back of the trailer to forget the present death and abandonment and make our first liver mush poems. I remember that moment in photographic detail. The sun came through the red velvet curtains. TV played from Mama's cracked bedroom door. We walked across the highway to sit in the waste runoff cutting through Baker's Creek Park. We had freckles on our noses and we never smelled like dirt. We laced our fingers together and crouched in the Formica sand. We looked into each other's eyes and said the words together, liver mush. That might be it. That could really be it. Or there's one last option for where I tasted my first mush. It had to be at the Lutheran Church in Landis, built in 1799, old and small and white, and stained glass windows red with the blood from the slaughterhouse that is Christianity. My church, the church my mom's mom grew up in, the church my mom grew up in, the church my mom married my dad in, the church that held his memorial service when he died, the church where my mom married Chuck, and Chuck became my stepdad. And I didn't call him stepdad or dad or anything like that. I just called him Chuck. And after 15 years, I called him Pop because it hurt his feelings when I called him Chuck. At the Lutheran Church in Landis, the ground was all fire anthills and pecan graves and a mausoleum of a fellowship hall. And inside there was a 500-year-old man cooking breakfast for everyone. And he eyed me and told me, "Here, you're going to need this." And he fried up my first slice of liver mush. And he was right. Then the pastor retired from the Lutheran Church in Landis, and almost everyone left with him. My mom and Pop and I cleaned the church every Thursday night. They didn't want the symbol of their family and history and love to die. They wanted to fight back the decay of time just a little. A vacuum's knife whirring through gray death every week. A can of furniture polish to wipe away less and less dust. A going away party for the house of God. Then we drove back to the place my mom lived with Pop. The place I know I didn't eat my first slice of liver mush. The place I would never eat my first slice of liver mush. The place liver mush was separated from history and started to become a symbol, where we fixed breakfast on weekends to say, remember what we had before this? Remember the house on Boss Street? Remember Mama's trailer? Remember the fawning, doting congregation eager to hear one more slice of info about liver mush? Coming to fill the empty chapel of the Lutheran Church in Landis, or fill my mouth with mush, or boil me down and add cornmeal and some other shit so I last a little longer until next slaughter, so I can preach the good word a little longer, so the congregation never gets an empty belly. I'm thankful for that. I'm gonna do two quick ones back to back. Sometimes I stick my pinky into the center of an unfried block of liver mush to create a narrow 3-inch deep hole. I put a live scorpion in the hole and cover it back up. I put the unfried block of liver mush back in the refrigerator and forget about it. Liver mush. There's a live scorpion in there. The liver moment. You'll all relate to this. Liver mush, a delicious moment. Liver delicious, the mush of the moment. The liver moment. You're living in it. Liver mush. There's still a live scorpion in there. Thank you.